Live from the Carl Chevrolet Studios in West Des Moines, this is Iowa Live.
Oh boy, do we love it when Whitney Hemmer from Fareway Meat Grocery comes over and hangs out in our kitchen. And you're going to be talking about something today that folks you might not have heard about or may never have experimented because you know we're talking about Fareway Meat and Grocery.
So we are talking the beef shoulder tender today.
Okay.
This is a perfect cut for this time of year because if you're having any kind of dinner parties or you just want kind of a fancy, elegant dinner, but you don't want to spend the price of a true beef tenderloin, this is what you have to get.
They are very pricey. Beef
a tenderloin,
is very, very pricey. But look at that. That's what it looks like.
These are a fraction of the price. As you can see, it is completely boneless. There is no waste whatsoever. They weigh about 3/4 of a pound. So the oranges are kind of for size reference here. They're perfect for 2 people. They're a perfect steak to split.
And there's no waste.
There's no waste whatsoever. There's absolutely no trimming. You get it home. It is ready to go.
Okay. Now, would you say this is half the price of a
per pound? Per pound.
Okay. So this is very economical when it comes to that, and packs a punch.
Yes, it's technically second in tenderness to the tenderloin, but you're not going to notice it. You're not going to notice. It is so tender.
Oh, well, why wouldn't you do this then?
Yes, so this is perfect. I also like it this time of year because it's the shape of a steak that I like to cook inside skillet to oven.
Okay.
Because since it's a little bit thicker, I have a lot more control searing it and then finishing it in my oven versus if I grill it. And that is a real personal preference for me.
Now, would this be simply with a cast iron pan like this or on the stove with a regular pan? But you want a cast iron?
So if you have an oven safe skillet, that is preferred. If you don't, you can use whatever skillet you have and then transfer it to a baking sheet, but keep that baking sheet in the oven while it's preheating so it's warm. You don't want to lose any temperature as you transfer it.
All right, so what are we going to be creating here then?
Okay, so we have a really simple shoulder tender with a garlic rosemary finishing butter.
Got it.
So for the seasoning, I just used my favorite steak seasoning, which is a Montreal steak seasoning.
Easy.
Easy.
Use it for everything.
That's all I used. I cooked it, I seared it 2 minutes per side, got a nice color on it, popped it in the oven at 400 degrees, 8 to 10 minutes.
That's it?
That's it. But the key here is always about that internal temperature.
Okay, I'm curious about this. Okay, what's the internal?
I pulled mine at about 135 and then let it, or it was probably 130 when I pulled it, and then I let it rest for a few minutes and it came up to 135.
Now, is this covered with aluminum foil?
I don't even cover it.
Oh, you don't?
I just take it out of the pan and put it on my cutting board. Unless if I do a secret, if you need it to come up a few more degrees, leave it in your pan to rest.
Okay.
But my key is I used a wireless meat thermometer that I inserted before I seared it at all on the stove. So that way I can just check it from my phone. I can see about how much time is estimated that it has left. So this is a really great investment, especially for a cut of meat like this. And a lot of times I'll get asked when I serve these things, well, why does this piece of steak have a hole in it? Well, it has a hole in it because I used my meat thermometer, and that's why it's cooked perfectly, because I could keep an eye on it. So I use this. This is called a meter. And like I said, I put that in before I seared it. But you could go up to 145, really, depending on however you like to cook your steak. So eat it, let it rest. Slice it across grain, which is really easy with this piece of steak because you just kind of cut, along it.
Just cut it like you
cut it like you'd think you'd cut it, and then you could eat it as is. But I'm also a big fan of trying to figure out ways to use leftovers, especially when it comes to steak, because I think it can be a little tricky.
Okay.
So you could take leftover steak and make it into something like a crostini here. You could make a steak sandwich because it's really good cold as well. And I just put a little bit of Boursin cheese on my bread, but you could really use kind of any flavored cream cheese or cheese spread just to add a little bit more moisture and flavor. That would also work as an appetizer.
Okay.
If you want to serve this at a party.
And what would you pair it with then?
Yes, if you were going to serve this, so I like to have minimal what I call moving parts when I'm cooking. So I'm focusing on my steak. I don't want to focus on my sides. So what I did was got twice baked potatoes from the meat department.
Oh, easy.
Just got to warm them up. If you want a baked potato, I do recommend these O-tatoes. They are a baked, then frozen baked potato.
So they're already cooked, so you don't have to really, you just have to heat them up.
Yes, and one of actually the best things about these is the size. I think they are just perfect for a side dish, because sometimes when you buy a potato, they're so huge. So if you're serving a group of people, you have a nice, consistent baked potato side dish that doesn't take very long
Now,
either.
is this something you heat up in the bag like this?
No, you heat this up
separately?
Yes, the directions are for either the microwave or the air fryer. So super simple. Just take a couple minutes because, like I said, I don't want a lot of moving parts when I'm cooking things in the kitchen.
Okay, but this sounds like very, very fast, very
Yes.
flavorful. Now, what do you think it goes along with this? The
I've kept my
dessert,
desserts
too?
easy too. This is a brand called Truly Yours. They are a sandwich cookie that I put on my spread again, just because I don't want all those moving parts. I want to be focusing on just one thing. So I let the Fareway Bakery do my buns.
Okay.
And then my side dishes, obviously, were very easy as well.
All right, well, we better try this. You know, what do you call this?
I called it crostini. So it's just any piece of bread you can slice and toast. I have actually made this with frozen garlic bread as well if I'm feeling desperate.
I just call it great.
Call it delicious.
Fareway.com to get the recipes.